Hey, what's going on, guys? Mark back on Mark's Aquatics. Right, on this episode we're going to be starting up a brand new little nano 52 litre Fluval Evo, which they've kindly sponsored me. It's a lovely looking little tank, spot on LEDs on it, everything's filtration wise. It's got everything in there apart from the skimmer and the heater. It's got everything else in this box that you're going to need to start off your own little Great Barrier Reef in your living room, which is going to be absolutely fantastic. This video is going to be like a start to finish, all the do's and don'ts, all the things that you need to do, how to start it, how to cycle it. We're going to go up to as far as cycling it on this video. All the links I'm going to put in the description down, where you can get this tank, where you can get the heaters, skimmers, hydrometers, everything I'll drop in the comment section below. Okay, so if you fancy picking all this stuff up and following me along on this little journey, it doesn't have to be this tank in particular. It can be any nano tank or any tank, but just enjoy your hobby. Anyway, let's get into this tank. Let's see what's in the box. Right, guys, we're out the box. Everything's laid out. I'll just go through it with you. Obviously, we've got the lid. We've got the other section of the lid there, which goes over the filter side on the left hand side there. We've got the pump. We've got the heater. We've got the LED lights there, we've got the transformer for it there, we've got the skimmer there, collection cup there, and all the other fixtures and fittings to hang the skimmer, which is going to go in this half here, which you've got to remove because these don't actually come with the skimmer supplied, so it's something you're going to have to buy separate. But this little piece here will just pop out with a little bit of pressure. You can just pop that out, and that's where your skimmer is going to be sat through there. That collection cup, which is down there, is going to fit through there. Okay, and obviously you've got the wires and different things there. You're going to have to take those out as well and just snap those. Oops, just like so, for your wires to come through, your skimmer cables, your power cords, all those things are going to go through these. Okay, so you can just take those out just like so. Job's done. Right, I think what we're going to do now, obviously we can take the lid away and we can put the pump and everything in on one go. A lot of you guys out there probably are pretty good with this DIY stuff, putting it all together, but if you're not, I thought we're doing a start to finish so we can do it this way and then all of you guys can see what it is. Now obviously that's the pump there. Inside the reservoir here you'll find your length of tube, okay, which will go onto the top of your pump like so, and then there's a little hole just up there where obviously this is going to be going through, and then you can angle your little outlets wherever you want them to go to adjust the flow from when you put your corals in, so we're not blasting them all around the tank. And you do that by unscrewing it like so. You place that in the inside and then you just turn that, and I'll just put that in place. Okay, but before we do that, what we've got to do is we've got to get the pipe on top of here, okay, and onto there as well. Now I've always found if you put some of this into warm water or just off boiling water, it'll really supple it up and then you'll better push it onto the end. But these are quite soft pipes, so if you just wriggle that on, there you go, that's going to go on there. But with harder tubes, just a little trick, you can just do that, and then you do the same with this end. Okay, now you've got to put this on first before, let me just get that on there all the way. Make sure you push that all the way down, so all those little kinks now, those little barbs are inside there, so that's not going to blow off. Okay, so when that now is going to be very, very difficult to pull off. And another thing, when you put it inside, make sure you don't touch the sides of the tank, because there might be a little bit of vibration. Okay, and then it will rattle around in there on the side on these little suction cups, and it's not going to drive you absolutely crazy. Okay, so we're going to put that into the back now. You just lower that in, like so. holding your cable and running that back up as well, I tend to just hold it like that and then drop it in, okay? Drop that all the way to the base, and then that's dropped in like that. Then you get the corresponding side, which is that side there, and then you poke that through that hole, and that will then screw all the way around until it makes a nice finger tight. Don't over tighten these things, and then you can just aim that down there just for the time being. So now that's the pump installed. We can just run the cable out the back there. So we've got the pump installed now. Right, now what we've got to do is we've got to install our little fluval heater, which has got which is very fancy actually. Look at that, it seems to have a reflective coating on there. I thought it was stainless steel for a minute when I first opened the packet, but it's got a glass tube with some reflective material inside, which looks very, very fancy. Brilliant stuff. It's already preset at 24 degrees there. Okay, we're going to want it a little bit just in the middle of there, 24, 25 degrees. We're going to go on for that, and that sits in the same place as your pump. So that goes straight into the pump section there and just sucks to the side of the glass, and we can leave that. Obviously it's not pushed all the way down for a minute, we'll just leave that there, but that's where that goes. You've got a sponge section in the middle. I'll show you that all from above in a second. And then we've got the skimmer, which is going to go in the end one here. Okay, and then that's all your running gear installed. So I think what we'll do is now I'll just get the skimmer, which is over here. And this, I must say, it's a lovely little bit of kit. Very nice little made skimmer. If I just bring it around to the front there, you can see that's really nice. All smooth edges, really nice. Nice little adjuster on there to make sure you can up or down your bubbles for your skimmate to make sure it doesn't overflow and all that stuff. Lovely little pump inside there as well with a needle wheel, which is going to whisk up lots and lots of little bubbles, which is going to let all that protein get attached to those bubbles and be skimmed out and keep your tank nice and clean. So what we're going to do is now, you've either got different options to put this on. You can put it on the side with the suckers that are provided on there, or there seems to be some other hanging kit as well, which I'll have to quickly look at the instructions for, because I don't know either. Right guys, we've just worked it out what it was. Now then, when you get these skimmers, you don't have to put them obviously in this tank. So what they give you is this little hanging kit, which when you put these on, I've just taken these off, which clamp up and down on the skimmer there, okay, inside the body, but obviously that is not going to fit inside that small chamber, so you've got to take these off and you've got to replace them with the ones here, which are the small slimline ones, which then you can then drop that into position there, okay, and it goes down and it'll find a little ledge down there, and it sits nice and snug on top of that. So we don't need all this stuff now, so we can put that in our little spare parts box or in our cupboard, in my case down here, so we can keep it all together in one little cupboard under there. So that's done now. It also comes with a different size tube if you wanted to put a smaller tube on there or on the pump or something, or use something different, you can use that as well. Okay, so that screws in the top, and that just as a reducer, so we can put that away because we won't need that because we've got the one on already. So okay, so we've got that fixed on. Now what we've got to do is put the lid on. So we don't have to put it on then. So we've got our heater in the back in the first chamber there with our pump, and we've got our skimmer here. So you've got to point the pipe through there first and then locate everything else through the little holes that you popped out those little bits of plastic, okay, like so. When that all fits down nice, then you can get your skimmer cup, which is that little clear bit there with this removable lid. Then that fits nice and snug on top of there, and that then fits into here to adjust the airflow and things, and we can get into that a little bit later on. So that's your skimmer fitted into the top, the heater's fitted, the return pump's fitted, the outlets are in, everything's ready to go. Now all we've got to do is get our get our lid, and we've got to put our light in. Now this is a 14,000 Kelvin rated LED, and I'll just show you it there, and it's absolutely been flooded with silicone. Look at that. So this is absolutely completely waterproof. Okay, you could drop that, you could completely submerge that in the tank and nothing would go wrong whatsoever, because it's soft gel that's been poured in there and it goes off all around it. And now all we've got to do is get our lid, and at the end of the lid there you'll see a small hole there, and you've got to poke your lead through that hole first. So I'll just put that to one side a moment and undo this multitude of cable ties, and then we can move forward with this little build. It's very exciting. I love doing this kind of stuff, guys. I really do. And like I said, believe it or not, in all my years of keeping aquariums, this is the first brand new one I have ever owned in my entire life. And okay, so that goes through there like so. You pull your cable through, and then your little light just sits happily and snugly in the top there. And there you go, all fitted in, magic stuff. Now obviously there's one more cable on there we've got to thread through first. So right guys, everything is fitted now. We've got a skimmer in, we've got a heater in, we've got our return pump in there and everything else, and everything's on. So I've plugged the light in. It's a touch, really light touch. Look at that, you just touch it and you get that 14,000 Kelvin rated LED light come on there, which is going to keep most corals very, very happy indeed. I don't know about the higher end of the SPS stuff, but we got a couple of those in the in my coral room, so we could always try a couple of those out in here and see how they fare. But touch it again and it goes to that moonlight actinic blue, which we all know really makes those corals pop of an evening time when you're sat down having a glass of wine and watching the TV. And that's absolutely fantastic. What a beautiful little setup. Very, very happy with that. So there we go. So that is the main put together, how to do it. And so some of you guys aren't familiar with instructions or can't get your head around the instructions, can follow this along, and this is how easy it is to set up. Okay, so what we've got to get now is the setup. So that's entirely up to you. You can go with a completely clear bottom. You can go with obviously live sand. You can go with coral gravel. You can, it's whatever you want to put in it. Okay, but we're going to make this one. We're going to put some live sand in there from my room as well. So I've got some out there so I can seed it a little bit. And now that's one of the things with these tanks, guys, is cycling them. They can take weeks to cycle. Okay, so this is going to be like a video. We're going to be jumping backwards and forwards, okay, over the next few months on this little setup and seeing how it's coming along and doing like little episodes every now and again. So what I'm going to do is we're going to fill it up now with some water. So we've got to make up some salt water. This is your first time to do this and you need to make up salt. We'll go into the workshop and I'll show you how to make up salt. Okay. Right guys, what I've got in my coral room now, where I make up my water, is I've got a large vat with a little ball valve in it there, which goes all the way through into the workshop, and that is where my RO system is, and that is pumping this nice clean 0 TDS water all the way through into here. And the salt I use, or the salt I've got at the moment, is this one, H2 Ocean Pro Formula, okay, by D&D, and that's the one I've got at the moment, which I'm using. Another bucket full down there. Get through a fair bit of this stuff, obviously with monthly water changes that I do. It's a 150 litre drum, and I'd worked out that I need 9 pints of salt. So I've got my pint glass up there, and all I do is fill it up level, scoop it in like that, okay, level him off or thereabouts, and then I just sprinkle that in. And this is how you make your sea water up, guys, okay? I mix it in cold. You can mix it in warm, it's up to you, but this is a cold mix formula, so it it mixes up fairly easily, and what I've got is a big power head which I'll drop in there to circulate the, well, that little pump over there in my corner of my sink. I drop that in and that just agitates it and keeps it swirling around and mixes it up, and I'll leave that overnight, and I'll add a heater in there as well, and I'll get that up to about 24 degrees, and then I'll do my water change. So you're putting in nice fresh warm water when you after you've taken out the old water, okay, and then we'll go and fill this little tank up when this is all done. Right, okay guys, when you're mixing up your salt water, you've got to get yourself a refractometer, okay, or a hydrometer, which is a little device to measure how much salt you've put into the water, okay, and it's called your salinity, and that's what salinity is. It's how salty the water is. Now seawater is around 35 parts per thousand, but I'd go, if you want to go on the refractometer side of things, you want to get it around 32 to 33 parts per thousand, okay, on the gauge as you look through it. I'll just see if I can look outside and see if I can get you a view through this. Right, there you go. There's a good little, I've just put the camera right up to it and it's working quite well actually. Now on the left hand side there, okay, you've got your salt content there as well. Now you're going to want it to be around 1.024, okay, to 1.025, and on the right hand side in the parts per thousand you're going to want it around 30 to 35, anywhere between those, and you're going to be fine. Don't worry about it if it's just up or down slightly, okay, but that's what we're looking for. And obviously I've got a bigger system than you guys because I'm running my whole shop in here as well, so I've got to make up a lot of salt water when I do my water changes, but you can also do it in a separate salt bucket like the one I've got down here on the floor as I wreck the place. I've got an empty salt bucket there, and as you get used to things you can get a separate bucket, little stirring stick. As you can see in there, I've got a heater as well going in there, and also my little power head which just keeps that water swirling around nicely and keeps that salt mixture and keeps everything suspended nice and mixes it up. Leave it for 24 hours and then put it in the following day. Okay, that's the best plan. Right, let's go and fill this tank up. Right guys, what I've done is I've filled it up with water now, got everything going, and I'm just going to show you the back of the tank now. I've put some crushed coral sand in there. It's not live sand. Well, I suppose it could be. It is live sand now. It's been in my system for a little bit of time now, so it's going to have some bacteria in there as well. And if we look in the back, I'll just use its light because it's a bit dark in here today. You can see we've got the sponge filter there, we've got the skimmer, and we've got the return pump with the heater in that chamber there, and you can see it all moving away. Now when you get these guys, you've got two little bags inside of media as well, one of carbon and one of some it's like, well, it's just a ceramic media it is, and so it's up to you. You can keep it in, you can swap it out, it's entirely up to you, but we're going to use this. We can make some changes as we go along later on, but I just want to show you guys how to set it up with what it comes with so far. Right, there you go guys, it's all cleared up now. Still a little bit of haze in the water, but that's to be expected with it being a brand new system. Everything's now got to start evolving in there. Bacteria are going to have to start colonizing things, and it's time to cycle the tank. Now there's a couple of ways you can do this. I personally like doing it with live rock, and you can either go to your local shops and you can get, I haven't actually got any live rock at the moment which I could give anybody else, but I've got one piece in there which I've been saving for a little project just like this, which we're going to put in there. Now if you can get cured live rock, that's all the better, because it's going to be bacterially sound for the first, on the first time you put it in there. So it's going to have something in there colonizing it, and that's going to speed up that cycling process, okay? Or you can put in some fresh live rock, but then that is obviously going to have to cycle even more. So that's going to take it a bit slower because it's going to have what's called die-off. And when you get a fresh piece of live rock in, it's got lots of little bits on it, little bits of weed, different things, and that is going to decay and die. So some of your creatures are going to be dead inside, obviously through transport and because they've been dry. But then once you put them in, that is going to cycle your tank as well, okay? So don't worry about putting anything in like fish or anything else. You can add some little bit of shrimp in or whatever, like you've seen me do before. That'll get that cycle going, and that ammonia being produced But if you've got live rock which is already cured, whack that in first, and that's going to speed up this next bit of the process. Okay, so I'm going to get this piece of rock now from the coral room and put it in there, and I'll show you what it looks like. Right, there you go guys, I've put the nice piece of live rock in there. Look at that, lovely coloured up. We've got some coralline algae, which is that pink, and the darker red patches on there, that's coralline algae. That will encrust all over the rocks in time if you're new to this hobby. If I can get some close-ups for you there, there's lots of little tube worms and things in there on that rock as well. We've also got a couple of little naughty aptasia on there, which is a little anemone, which you can see right there. Now they can prolifically breed, if so the good thing to do, if you can see them, you can either get some aptasia X or different things which you can squirt onto them, and that'll kill them off. But I'm not too fussed about aptasia, to be honest. I think if you keep a nice, you know, healthy reef and you don't put too much feed in and different things of that nature, they're not too bad, and I can live with a couple of those little guys. And like I say, I don't like killing anything, so if I can help it. But like I said, that's a nice little piece there, and I can see there, if you look right there in the middle of the screen, might be, sorry it's a little bit blurry, you've got an asterina starfish in there. Now some of those will predate on coral, but they're another thing that can breed quite prolifically as well, and you only need to break a little piece of that arm off and it'll grow a complete new starfish. Right guys, as you can see up in the left hand corner there, I have added my little bit of shrimp there, a little bit of cooked shrimp. That's going to sink down to the bottom and start to rot away. Now when you first start up a marine tank guys, it's going to go through a multitude of different colours. You're going to get algae all over the place, it's going to be on the substrate, but this is all part and parcel of starting up a healthy reef. Okay, you're not going to get, there you go, bombs away, you're not going to get an amazing reef quickly, and that is one of the things I can't stress enough, because people, I see them go down the shops, they'll set a tank up because the water looks clean and clear and they've got their live rock and they think, oh, it's all fantastic, everything's going to be great. They start chucking fish in, huge ammonia spike, and everything dies, and it's not the way forward. Patience is the key. Okay, I can't stress that enough when a marine tank is involved, or any systems involved. Time, as you all know, when you look back when you first had your first tank to what you know now, if you're a seasoned fish keeper, everybody wants everything quickly, but this is the best way to do it. Okay, so we're going to let that do its thing now, and then we're going to do regular updates on this tank so you can follow along. Okay, and that's what we've got to get. So you've got to get yourself test kits as well guys now, okay, because we're going to have to be testing for that horrible ammonia, okay, then the nitrite, and then that nitrate, which is the end of that nitrogen cycle. Okay, so we're going to have to start doing all that kind of good stuff now. Anyway guys, I hope you like that first little episode of how to set up a saltwater tank part 1 with this amazing little Fluval Evo tank, little 52 litre tank. I'm going to have great fun with this, and they're not that expensive, to be honest guys, so I'll put a link in the description down below so you can pick yourself up one of these with the heater and the skimmer as well. If you want to get into this little project, you can follow this along and we can have some fun together. Anyway guys, as always, your stars, love you loads, take care, and I will see you on the next episode of Mark's Aquatics. Bye for now. Just me and my guitar.